Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Loop Hero. This is a roguelike that released a few months ago, I think back in March, and was received very well by the gaming community at large. In fact, this game was streamed ad nauseum by a lot of the major streamers, which is the main reason I haven't played it on the channel yet, because I thought I was getting plenty of coverage on its release. That said, I really like this game. I think it's something special, and I would be remiss not to put out at least one video showcasing this title. So that's what we're going to do today, and maybe along the way I can show you some strategies that have worked well for me so far. Now, before we get into this, you need some background story. The stars are going out, and all of space and time is literally being erased by an unknown force. For some reason, our hero is able to stay dimensionally anchored, and we see a winding path before us. By following these loops, our hero remembers the world around us and starts rebuilding space and time where we can gather strength and attack the enemy that is seeking to destroy our universe. It sounds like a very ambitious and lofty cosmic plotline, but believe it or not, it actually kind of works. Now, going into my save file, this is the village you come to in between your expeditions. As you get resources, you build it out, you get extra character upgrades. This gets you stronger for every consecutive run. I'm not going to show off too much about this right now. As far as expeditions, there are 4 chapters in the game. I'm currently on chapter 3, but we'll go back to chapter 2 so I can fight a medium difficulty boss here. And there are 3 classes to choose from. To start with, you have access to the warrior, but then you can unlock the rogue and the necromancer, and each of these guys play a little differently, especially the necromancer. I'm going to be playing with the rogue. It's my favorite class, and I have had a lot of good luck with it. Before we continue, we should note that I did say we're rebuilding the world around us, and you do that by placing down these cards. They represent different landmarks that you can remember, and by selecting some of these or deselecting them, you'll control what you're going to see in this next expedition. Each card does different things. We'll go into that a little bit more later, but just understand that's how it's going to work. All right. So starting off, the game doesn't look like much in this pixelated graphical style, but it's actually pretty elegant in its own fun way. So our character is going to be leaving the camp and now following a loop for the rest of this run. The map is not going to change here. What's going to change is everything around the loop as we rebuild this map. As we travel, we'll encounter monsters and we will fight and kill them, and then hopefully gain some loot. If you're playing as the warrior or the necromancer, there'd be a chance for them to drop some gear that I can then equip up over here. But as the rogue, it's a little bit unique. Whenever we kill an enemy, we take a trophy, and then we turn in all those trophies on a completed loop at the camp and get some random gear that way. So the more enemies we fight, the stronger we are going to get. But obviously that's a high risk, high reward play. I'm also going to place down this arsenal card, which is something I've unlocked from our camp. And the way that works is it basically reduces the quality of the loot drops I'm going to get, but unlocks an extra gear slot right here, a neck slot, which is going to be helpful and I think usually pays for itself. We can dual wield weapons. Now we can wear a neck slot, we can have armor, and we can have boots. Going into combat, you have no control over what is happening. It is just a bunch of rolls of the dice. But you can improve your odds of success and how much damage you do and your survivability by increasing your character's stats, and you do that primarily through your gear. So the better your gear, the better your stats, the more damage you do, the more survivable you are. Now we're going to be placing down some cards variously across the mountain. For example, a thicket is going to increase my attack speed by 2%. We're also going to be placing down some monster spawners. I'm thinking, let's say, a spider cocoon right there, and maybe a cemetery up over here or something. All right? Now, it may seem counterintuitive. Why would I want to spawn more enemies? Because the more enemies I fight, the stronger I will become. As long as we can control the increasing difficulty so that I get stronger faster than it can overwhelm me, we will be fine. But that's the real balance of this game, and it's a fine art to be able to figure this out. Alright, so we're going to be fighting some spiders now. Note that you can fight multiple enemies at once, which can be a bit risky. I'm going to be placing down a river over here, and the rivers double the effectiveness of a card that is adjacent. So if we build it all the way out here, we'll double the effectiveness of the cemetery, and we'll fight 2 skeletons instead of 1. Which, again, high risk, high reward, but it does kind of work. Placing forests next to it should give me extra attack speed as well, so I'm going to go ahead and do some of that. Now we're going to speed things up, speed up the combat, speed up the expedition speed, because I want you guys to be entertained, and I think you guys get the gist of what is happening, so let's go fast. I will place down some mountains over here, and now that we've arrived at the camp, we turn in all of our trophies, and this is all the gear that I'm going to receive. So let's see, we want to maximize our damage potential. I'm thinking we are going to go for an axe that goes right here and removes this current weapon for 7 to 10 damage. We'll also go for 3 to 5 plus 17% extra critical damage. On our necklace slot, we can get a magical shield 23 and some attack speed, or 49. I'm going to go for the 49. That's just an extra health bar, basically, that replenishes every combat. For boots, we can go for some evasion chance. All right, sounds good. And more max HP with armor. All right, good enough. Let's start our next run. We're now on loop number 2. Understand that enemies do get stronger with every consecutive loop. So you can consider these all to be level 2 slimes now. They have more health and they do more damage, so be wary of that. A treasury is nice. I'm going to go ahead and place this over here. And if you can fully surround a treasury, it drops extra loot for you. So sometimes it's really nice if you want to get a little bit of a leg up. Vampire mansions. By placing these guys down, we're going to be fighting vampires every time we have a combat within its radius. So this greatly increases the number of enemies we're going to fight, and therefore increase the number of trophies that I can receive as well. So again, high risk, high reward. Totally worth it. Oh, here comes a vampire. Okay. Vampires are dangerous. They do a lot of damage, and in this case, at stage 2, they start also summoning some bat swarms, which is more enemies. And yes, you guessed it, more trophies, which is what I want. Let's go ahead and fully surround the treasury. It's going to open up and get me some new amulets. So these are pretty high quality. I'm willing to lose 8 magic shield in order to gain some evasion and some attack speed. Sure, that seems pretty worth it. Road Lantern reduces the maximum number of enemies that can be on a tile. By default, it is 4. We've reduced it in this area so that we can never fight more than 3 enemies at a time on the loop. So that just kind of helps to control things and make sure that we do not get overwhelmed as easily. All right, more spiders. Yeah, having more magic shield would certainly be helpful right about now, but oh well, we don't have that. Yes, by the way, I am deliberately placing the rocks over here in a specific pattern. They're getting me extra max HP for every adjacent rock, so you want to build it out intelligently. Also, if we can build this into a 3x3 grid, we'll get a mountain peak which spawns harpies, which is another enemy that is difficult, but worth fighting for the extra trophies. So yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, more cemeteries. Let's go ahead and place down some more over there, I guess. How about another forest? We are about to arrive at our loop, and there we go. What kind of loot do I have now? Well, better armor, much better max HP, plus some counter and evasion chance. I'll take it. More shield, plus crit chance and damage. I kind of like the evasion, the attack speed better, but I need the shield, so we'll go ahead and take that. Unless I like this better. Yeah, actually, I think I prefer the evasion over the crit chance. Survivability is always going to be a bit risky. Let's go for better boots, and we did not, unfortunately, get a better weapon. Now, that's a serious problem, because we're going into loop 3, and I still have a level 1 and 2 weapon. That's pretty terrible. My DPS is going to suffer. As you kill monsters, you gain experience, and when you fill this up, you're going to get a trait. Let's see. Nothing is sacred. We can get HP for every kill. Get a full hand of Oblivion cards, or get a resurrection with full healing. I think I'm going to take HP for every kill because this is going to get me some extra survivability and gas to stay in for a little bit longer. Resurrection's nice, and I'll want that before we fight the final boss if we get lucky, but until then, I'll pass. All right, let's go ahead and build out some more forests like so. Here comes a gargoyle from the treasury that we opened up. That's going to be fun to deal with. I think it's actually going behind me, though, so I don't have to fight it right now. Yeah, it's back over there. All right, extra thickets and stuff. Sure, this will be fine. Let's place down rocks. Now, because we placed down enough of these forests, we actually just had a special tile appear, a quote-unquote village which spawns wooden warriors. We could eventually find an Oblivion card and get rid of it if we feel threatened, but I'm not too worried about these. Goblin camps, on the other hand, that one right there, for example, those I don't like. I am not a fan of the Goblin camps. So yeah, we don't want that. Actually, that was a terrible place to place a vampire mansion. I just realized, oops. Okay, well, maybe I Oblivion that later in the future if we can. All right, keep killing monsters. Here come the vampires. It's probably going to spawn some bats. There it is. Kill him. Okay, looking good. I'm going to go ahead and increase the expedition and combat speed a bit more, just so we can go a little faster here. And let's keep building out some of this river. I want a spider cocoon, let's say, over there. And how about a blood grove? Blood grove basically can spawn flesh golems, but also, whenever an enemy gets below 15% within its radius, it just instant kills them, which is usually pretty nice. Usually something you want to place close to the boss, actually, but you have to place it next to a grove. Here's our first wooden warrior. No problem. We take him out. I'm not worried about those. Another grove. Sure, I'll place one right here. So I'll be able to place a blood grove near the boss area in the future. Now, as far as the boss, if you look up over here... Oh, look, an Oblivion. All right, we'll hold on to this in a minute. If you look up over here, we have 2 different bars that are filling up. One is the day-night cycle. As time goes on, day progresses, and every dawn, we have new monsters that spawn. So this gives you an idea when you're going to fight some more monsters. Down here is the boss meter, and when this fills up all the way, as you place down additional cards, the boss will then spawn. So sometimes you want to deliberately hold off on building the world any further until you have a chance to get your strength high enough that you feel like you can take on the boss. I'm going to go ahead and place down a road lantern in a couple of spots, let's say over here, +1 over here. And dare I get rid of this? I don't think we need to get rid of the vampire yet, but we want to get rid of it before we fight the final boss, because that'd be terrible to fight the final boss and a vampire at the same time, now wouldn't it? All right. More mountains, sure. More vampires. I'll place one, let's say, over here. There we go. And loot. Oh, finally, some good weapons. Okay, now we're getting damage. This is what I wanted to see. All right, it doesn't really matter. We're going to go ahead and use the scimitar, and we're going to use one of these gladiuses. They're all pretty much the same. As far as boots, this would sacrifice a fair bit of evasion for some attack chance, or attack speed and critical damage. I'm not sure I like that, but I do love 10% and 10%. These are both quite good. Yes, I like this. This will work great for me. And as far as armor, I think I prefer what I currently have. Though level 6 would get me so much more max HP, I think it's probably worth it in this case. All right, moving on. Loop 4. But at least now I'm starting to get some good gear again. And with some serious damage on my side, we can kill these enemies very, very quickly, which is good. The faster you do damage, the less damage you're going to take, right? I mean, it just makes sense. Let's see, how do I want to build this out? Let's try building the river out this way a little bit. I can place down a couple more thickets, and I guess I'll place one here and one here, just to kind of get the double impact. So that's another 8% attack speed, I think. We're up to 53%, which is a lot. Now, you don't want to have too much attack speed. There's a gray bar underneath my hero's health bar over there, and that represents my stamina. And if it ever gets down to 0, I become fatigued and attack very slowly, and you got to be careful about that. Let's go ahead and get rid of this goblin camp. 3 goblins over here is actually going to be pretty difficult for me to deal with. And then build out the river a bit more. Another trait. Marauder, when we're fighting extra enemies, we get more trophies. Okay. 10% chance to attack multiple targets at the same time. Actually could be good in this case. Or for every missing 10% HP, we have a chance of doing 1,000% extra damage. I'm going to go for the 10% chance to simultaneously attack. This actually is going to give me some AoE damage, so we can fight multiple things at once. And it's actually going to be very, very good against the final boss. But you'll understand more about why probably later. All right, goblins, I hate these guys. They have high evasion chance, they attack very fast, and whenever you kill any of them, then they enrage and start doing even more damage. It sucks. That's why we don't like goblins. Let's finish out this mountain. Now harpies are able to spawn. That'll be good. Let's see. I want to keep building this out, but let's be mindful of that boss meter. We do not want this to get too crazy. The river has to kind of go around this way. Loop down over here. Okay, and some extra force. Okay, we're at 67% attack speed. With our damage, that's pretty darn good. I like that a lot. Okay, now I did not explain resources yet. This is a thing that is happening as we pass through certain tiles like groves, or as we, yeah, actually mostly just as you pass through tiles or place down tiles. We'll get resources. They're shown up over here. We're finding things like, let's say, a stable branch every time you go through a grove. And if you get enough of these, you get some wood. These are the resources you send back to town in order to get extra strength for your character for the next run. So you want to gather as much of these as you can. Alrighty, looking pretty good here. Let's place down more mountains, trying to increase my maximum HP by building those adjacent to each other. Now, we do heal every time we get to the camp, so even though I'm at half health right now, we're sort of okay. Also, we have potions, which whenever we get low life, our character automatically is going to drink. An extra Oblivion card here will be useful. Also, you get like an extra potion whenever you get back to the camp. So that's your primary way of getting a little bit of extra health. Another treasury. Yes, please. I'll go ahead and place more of these. Spiders? Sure. Let's go ahead and get some spiders over there, I guess. Fighting a gargoyle. Okay, those guys are usually fun. More vampires. Do I dare? Yes. Let's fight some more vampires so we can get a little stronger. And more attack speed. Sure, why not? All right, what do we got now? Note, by the way, we're on loop 5, and I am now finding level 7 gear because we're getting so many trophies. In fact, this is a huge power spike for me. Holy crud. 134 magic shield plus evasion and critical damage. Or 136 with damage to all. AoE damage? Absolutely, that is what we want. Spear, even more damage to all. Yes, please. and a mace. Oh my gosh, that is so much damage to all. The question is it worth getting rid of the scimitar with the attack speed? The answer is yeah. Raw damage plus AoE means whenever we fight large groups of monsters, we do a lot of damage all of a sudden. This is what we're going for. Once you start getting to about 50% attack speed, you can start tapering off and looking for any opportunity to get evasion and damage to all or pure damage. Those are the stats that you start to care about with this particular build. I don't know if I'm willing to get rid of 10% attack speed for a little bit of defense, but pure damage is really good. So yeah, this just increases my DPS by a lot. All right, this build's now starting to come together. We should be one or two-shotting a lot of enemies. We also just found some garlics. We do extra damage against all vampires. That's actually pretty cool. Thank you for that. Let's go ahead and build the river out this way and then replace another thicket over here, for example. We have another one of those villages. That's fine. Blah, blah, blah. All right. So we should be doing tons of damage at this point. This is fantastic. This is what we were looking for. Let's go ahead and place down a blood grove over here. Want to make sure we have one close to where the boss might spawn. Let's also not forget about this treasury, because I did already kind of forget about it. And no, by the way, you can't have multiple mountain peaks. Oop, get rid of the goblin camp. You can't have multiple goblin keeps. You can only ever have one. So you can't have multiple harpy spawners. That's why I don't care about placing these in another pattern at this point. Now we can finish out the treasury. Let's do that now. We get a bit more gear, but it's pretty underleveled for where I am right now. So thank you, but also no. All right. Looking good so far. We're actually getting close to leveling up again. I'll place down one more river, and I think at this point we can sort of stop with the river. We don't really need to be placing too many things adjacent to get double benefits. Although we've got some, I guess. I don't know. How about another spider camp there, plus some more spiders over here, plus... yeah, one more level of river will be fine over here, and then I guess I can place a mountain next to it for hopefully some extra impact. All right, good enough. Pew, pew, pew. Look at that. Eviscerating these guys. We're just eviscerating all of them. Eviscerating, that's what I started to say. Shoe nails. So that is going to get me extra damage for every hit. Attackers receive 1 damage after every hit. I'm not sure how that's going to work well for me, but maybe it does. All right. We did get another trait. What do we get here? Blissful Ignorance. Get a full hand of Oblivion cards, and every time you use Oblivion, I heal for 10%. Could be useful. Let's see. Aside from that, resource cap in the expedition is increased by 50%. This sounds dumb, but actually will be very useful to me, because I think this run is going to be a major success. And I've had runs where I can get so strong I can go infinitely. But there's a cap to how many resources you can bring back. By increasing that, I'm basically just saying I'm really committing this to being a good run where I plan on just raffle stomping everything, and I want to be able to hold more resources to take them back to camp. This is now becoming a major farming opportunity for me. Let's place down a cemetery. Let's place down some more spiders over here, for example. How about a few more rocks for some HP? Note that we are getting dangerously close now on the boss. So we don't want to be placing down too many things from here on out. A few more groves wouldn't be half bad. We're definitely killing really fast. Look at this. I mean, they're barely getting through my magic shield before I crush them. More groves are probably okay. Sure. More vampires? Yeah, I'll go ahead and fight more. Now that we have garlic, I do extra damage, which is pretty substantial. And I'm going to ignore some of these. Now, once you get too many cards in hand, you start to discard some. So be careful about that. How about a blood grove over here, I guess? I'm going to use an Oblivion to get rid of this vampire mansion, because I definitely want to get rid of that at some point. And I don't want to lose one of my Oblivions, and I'll hold on to this one. We're probably going to lose it, though, to be honest. I bet you we get more cards here that I can handle. All right. More stuff. Level 8 weapons. Hello. All right, pure damage. This is pretty good. We'll go ahead and get rid of the mace. As far as these, pure damage and just raw damage. Now, the thing is, I kind of like the damage to all, but it's only 2. So between those, I think I'll go for the raw DPS of the ritual sword. Plus, we can get some better armor. Yes. Pure damage and damage to all? Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and wear some of those. And as far as boots, 16% evasion chance, but I love that pure damage. I don't know. This also does pure damage and damage to all. But we'd be losing a lot of shields if I do that, as opposed to 190 I think I'll go ahead and lose a little DPS for a bit of extra survivability. And I like that 9 pure damage. I'm not going to trade up my boots for the next level. I don't think that it's quite worth it. All right, doing fine so far. I have had times where I can literally fill out the entirety of the map, which is a pretty good feeling when you become so powerful and beat down the boss that literally the entire thing is filled in. Now we're starting to lose cards. This is okay, though. We're getting a resource called Knowledge Fragments, and that is something we can take back with us. So I'm still okay with that. As far as a lantern, I don't know that we need a lantern, but I'm going to go ahead and place some of them anyway, plus additional groves. How about one over here? More road lanterns? Yeah, we'll go ahead and place that one there, and I think that's it. Let's not place down anything else, except for maybe vampires. Do I want to fight more vampires? It might be worth fighting more vampires. More XP. Bit risky. Yeah, all right. I just want trophies. That's all I care about. Lots and lots of trophies. All right, at this point, we're basically going to go on autopilot. I'm not planning on placing down almost anything else. We can spawn the boss at any time at this point. I just want to get so many trophies and so much power that we can raffle stomp that boss right down. That's what I'm going for. And now we're starting to get loads of memory fragments, because I just can't handle all this. What about another spider cocoon? That might be worth it. Another treasury, tempting, but I'd have to place down too many things for it to be worth it. More spiders over here, sure. And how about another grove? Right over here. There we go. Okay. Just trying to fight more monsters. We're actually close to getting another trait. Some of these are really, really powerful. So I do want to get that before we get to the boss, but I'm pretty confident we're about to get enough XP, so I'm not feeling very worried about it. They're barely able to break through my shield. This is the power of this particular build. We're at 87% attack speed, which is kind of the max you really want to go for. And with this much pure damage and damage to all, like large groups of enemies, they melt just as easily as single target. Except for maybe that flesh golem. Those things kind of hurt, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it all right. No problem. Yep. Rogue is powerful, everybody. Rogue is powerful. New trait. Let's see. Surveyor, we heal every time we pass by a tile with something on it. Maybe. How about whenever we're missing HP, we have a chance of doing extra damage, or after losing 20% of my max HP, we can evade all attacks for 2 seconds. What's going to be better for the boss, do we think? I'm thinking maybe Smokescreen, because if we ever get to that point, we're probably taking so much damage that 2 seconds could make a huge difference. But I'll be honest, none of those traits were very exciting to me just now. All right, we could spawn the boss right now, but I think I'd rather go for one more loop. Now we're seeing some good gear. Here we go. Level 10. All right, pure damage, damage to all. I think these are the 2 weapons that I want to go with because those work well for my build. Damage to all, defense, and evasion. Pure damage, damage to all, but less evasion. This is a lot of evasion chance. I think the damage to all still works well for me. Sure. Max HP, a lot of it, plus some damage to all. Plus counter over here? Ooh, which one's going to be better? Probably this one, to be honest. It's got also more max HP. The attack speed, no, I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, and then one more necklace, attack speed, critical damage. I guess I can lose. No, the one I have right now has more magic shield plus a stat I care more about. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with what I've got there. All right, this is the last loop. So we're going to go as fast as we can. I'm not going to touch a dang thing. Not touching one dang thing. Ideally, we stay pretty close to full health by the time we're ready to fight this boss. In fact, I could literally just commit and spawn the boss right now for fun. You know what? Because I like boss music, let's go ahead and do exactly that and also spawn whatever I can here. We are going to go for some extra road lanterns. Let's go ahead and place down some extra mountains. Once you do spawn the boss, there's really no reason not to just place down as much as you can to get extra stats, because at this point, the damage is done. So let's go ahead and do this. More road lanterns, plus some extra groves, plus some extra thickets for a little bit more attack speed. Rivers at this point, I think, are useless, so we can't do anything with those. That's fine. Extra thickets, sure, why not? Where are we? There we are. I got lost amongst all the monsters. All right, we're crushing it right now. We're looking really good. I'm pretty confident this is going to turn into a very resounding victory for me. I'm just placing down literally everything at this point. I don't even care where I place it, just every stat boost I can get. Our attack speed is now up to 88%. It's about to go even higher, believe it or not. It's place down some mountains over here so they get adjacency bonuses, plus the forests. Forests can go pretty much anywhere, honestly, but I'm just lazy. So we'll place down everything. How about more vampires? Sure, why not? More vampires sounds like a load of fun. We'll do this. Now, I don't think that we're going to get a chance to get the next round of loot before we fight the boss. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make sure we had really good gear before we go into this one more time. I'm going to go ahead and place down a Blood Grove right there. We could place down an Oblivion card. I see goblins. Get rid of that, please. We do not like goblins. They suck in every possible which way. Place down some spiders, though. Sure, why not? Spiders are fun. Everyone likes spiders, especially Australia, am I right? More treasuries. Meh, don't care. Oblivion. Now, you can use Oblivion to actually clear off a tile of monsters if you feel like you're about to go into a fight that's too strong for you, but at this point, I'm not feeling very worried. We've barely been nicked at this point. We're doing great. We're doing just fine and dandy, thank you kindly. All right, let's go ahead and build out some more of this. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. Where are we? Should be getting close to the final boss now, right? I can't even find myself. I don't even know where I am. Where am I? Right here. Okay. We found the Count's Chair. Vampirism, if we already have it. Well, as the rogue, you start with vampirism, so I think I just got 1% vampirism. That's a tiny bit of self-healing. That's not very significant. I can't say that I'm very impressed by that. Let me go ahead and just place down these two treasuries. If we can fill them in, sure, why not? More vampires? Yeah, why not? More vampires. I can handle vampires. Vampires are easy at this point. And we're healing so much that we're completely okay. This is just ludicrous. This is the power of the rogue. The rogue can eventually just scale completely out of control if you build them correctly. Absolutely great character. Blood Grove over here. So many rivers. 1,000 rivers around me. Whatever shall I do with them? I have no idea. Getting lots of resources, by the way. This is why I started committing to that, because I was pretty sure that the writing was already on the wall, and we were going to be doing just fine and dandy. We got some more gear. I'll take a look at that in just a second. How about some more vampires over here? We're getting close to getting another trait, actually. I'm not sure if we will get that or won't. The gear we got is not high enough level, because we got level 7 gear for loop 7, but we're on level 10 stuff. I am 3 levels ahead of where I should be, technically. That's how good we are. All right. Let's go ahead and place this all down. We have more goblins. Don't like, but at this point can probably handle. More mountains. Getting close to the end boss. Now, the bosses are all a little bit different. The Lich, for example, in the first stage, attacks very slowly, but does a huge amount of damage. In this case, I know that the second boss is going to be spawning mirror copies, and this is where having lots of attack speed plus damage to all is helpful, because you can burn through those mirror copies and start focus firing the actual boss. Kind of a critical thing for you to do. So, yeah, that's why I wanted to build this specifically for the boss. All right, here we go, getting into it. Do we want to retreat now and keep all resources or fight and risk death? I will stay! All right, there's the mirrors. Here comes, I don't even know who this character is, really. And now we're going to fight. So get rid of all of these mirrors. And we are focus firing pretty well. Note that my gray bar down here actually did burn all the way down, and I became orange and fatigued, so my attack speed slowed down by a lot. But the attack damage we're getting for all people right now is enough to just burn the heck out of that boss. Boom! All right, boss down, cool. Now we get to choose some rewards, and I get a lot of extra gear. Fan-flippin-tastic. Yep, a couple more loops in, and we really are basically invincible, and I am staying consistently 4 levels ahead on the current loop level, so this isn't going to change anytime soon. But at this point, I'm mostly full on all the resources that I could bring. We could do, like, probably 4 more loops before things would start getting a little crazy. But for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and retreat now that we are at the camp. If you try to retreat anywhere aside from the camp, then you lose some of your resources. So, ideally, if you're going to leave, finish your loop first. Let's go ahead and retreat, and we get to keep a whole load of resources, which I can then use to go ahead and get several upgrades in the village, make myself more powerful, and get back out there. So guys, that is a look at Loop Hero. It is a very, very good game, in my opinion. I think it's pretty unique. The art style is interesting, the plot is interesting, the gameplay is special, and that balancing act between deliberately making things harder on yourself, but not too hard, is really, really intriguing to me. I think this is a fantastic roguelike, one of the best I've seen in a couple of years, and I can't recommend it enough. If you guys would like to learn more, you can find a link in the description down below to the Steam Store page. For now, though, thank you all for watching. My name is Pravus. I hope you enjoyed. If so, I'd ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.